What's up, losers? It's Ito, and I'm back once again. This week, we're talking about movies, but not just any movies. I want to talk to you guys about video game movie adaptations. Yeah, I know. When it comes to movies based off of popular video games, there's not always a lot of good to say. And although I will be bringing up some less than exemplary works, sometimes it's not all bad, and Hollywood actually does get it right. And of course, there's gonna be some major spoilers up ahead, so continue at your own discretion. Now, let's get started. Video game movies have been a thing for a while now. The very first one was Super Mario Bros. And man, where do I even start? It came out in 1993 and was directed by the married couple of Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jenkel. It was a hot ass mess. Imagine everything you can think of when someone brings up old Mario games. The cute, simple, flat characters, the basic, colorful backdrops, the cartoonish villains, Princess Peach. Now, throw that all out the window because this movie doesn't have any of that crap. The main characters are still Mario and Luigi, but they're two Italian-American plumbers from Brooklyn. The plot is similar enough to any Mario games in the sense that it's all about saving the damsel in distress, which just happens to be Daisy, a student paleontologist and Luigi's girlfriend. The adventure takes the pair to an alternate universe where the same meteorite that took out the dinosaurs in our reality led to their evolution into these weird humanoid lizard creatures in theirs. Everything is dark and twisted and very, very dystopian. The main antagonist is President Koopa, who, by the way, has an intense transformation scene that'll have you making a ugh face. In fact, a lot of the character designs are just confusing at best. If you don't believe me, just check out the character design for the Goombas. But there are also some pretty cool Easter eggs here and there that almost make up for it. Hearing all of this, I'm pretty sure you've come up to the conclusion that the Mario Bros movie did not do well. It had an estimated budget of 48 million. Yes, 48 million. And grossed just under 21 million. Yikes. That all being said, there's a huge cult following, of course, and it's for good reason. The movie may be a mess, but at least it's unique, and let's face it, the Mario games just lack the depth needed to inspire a whole movie. It only made sense for the writers to expand. They didn't have that much to work with. Overall, my opinion of the Super Mario Bros. Movie is, moving on. If I'm gonna be talking about horrible video game movie adaptations, I'm gonna have to talk about the Resident Evil series. I will never pass up an opportunity to talk about how much I hate these movies. If you guys haven't watched the video where I talk about some great post-apocalyptic games that you can play during lockdown, I'll put a link down in the description below. I mentioned my strong dislike in that video, but I didn't want to talk about it too much because I didn't want to deter anyone from playing the actual games. Don't get me wrong, the Resident Evil games can be ridiculous and over the top at times, but they're still great games. The movies? 100% are not. Some of you may disagree with me, and that's totally fine. There is something to be said about the fact that the Resident Evil movies are the highest grossing films based on video games like ever, but no. I hate those movies so much. There's 6 of them that came out from 2002 to 2016. 4 out of 6 of these horrendous films were directed by Paul Anderson, but he had a creative role in either writing or producing all of them. Now, there's so many issues that I have with these movies, but probably one of the biggest ones that all fans of the video games share is the pure existence of the main character. Alice, played by Milla Jovovich, is the main protagonist. She's a character that doesn't exist at all in the games, which in my opinion isn't a complete deal breaker. The deal breaker is the fact that this Mary Sue of a character has practically no character development throughout the 6 installments. I've heard people say that the movie feels more like a poorly written fan fiction than a movie loosely based on the video games. Also, did I mention that Milla Jovovich is Paul Anderson's wife? No? Staple characters from the actual series like Joe Valentine, Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield, and Wesker do make eventual appearances here and there, but they're all either overshadowed by Alice's overpowered abilities or just plain shoved to the side without a care. It's all just poorly executed fan service. The action scenes are sluggish at times, and the storyline is generally messy, though I find that to be something the movies and the games do have in common. Despite all of this, I have to give credit where credit is due. The movies have grossed over $1 billion worldwide, so there's something about them that keeps pulling people in, I guess. Regardless, I'm holding my ground on my opinion, but for those of you that disagree, I'm truly jealous. I truly do wish I could enjoy the movies, but I just can't sit through one without ranting the whole time. Alright, so remember when I said this video was going to be about movies? That was a tiny lie, because this next one isn't a movie at all, but a TV show. The Witcher is a Netflix original that came out in December of 2019, and according to Netflix, it's been watched by over 76 million viewers in its first month alone. The sales of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt video game have also skyrocketed since the release of the TV show. If any of you are die-hard fans, you might already be side-eyeing me because you've already noticed the other little lie I've been withholding. The total truth is that the video games and the TV show are based off of a series of books written by Andrzej Sapkowski. But like the previously mentioned works in this video, the content differs greatly from the original source of inspiration, so I figured if they counted, this one counts. The story follows Geralt of Rivia, played by Henry Cavill. Some of you may better know him as the actor that played the most recent Superman in the DC live-action films. He's what's called the Witcher, a mutated being with supernatural abilities used to fight and kill monsters and beasts. That's the simplified version. This is a fantasy series with horror elements that plunges you straight into a vast world of elves, sorcerers, curses, wars, and bloodshed. But at the end of the day, the main focus is always on the characters themselves and the growth they undergo by themselves and with each other. As the show progresses, you really seem to grow a soft spot for Henry Cavill's Geralt. He's dry, dismissive, and painfully monotone, and that doesn't really change throughout the show, but after a while you detect a certain fondness behind his grunts and one-word answers. Character development. Another fan favorite is Jaskier, the lovely, womanizing bard that sticks to Geralt like glue in his long journey. His charismatic and childish ways contrast Geralt's painfully serious attitude beautifully, and it's obvious how close the two have grown by the near end, despite there never being any kind of clear revelation or discussion between the two. As to be expected when it comes to these adaptations, a lot of liberties were taken, so it's not going to be exactly like the video game, or even like the book in this case, but that's okay. You're allowed to change things as long as you do it right. Even if you're looking for something casual to watch, I'm still gonna recommend the show because of the great fight sequences alone. Sword fights, monster slaying, spellcasting, it's got it all. Season 2 is already scheduled for 2021 and it is highly anticipated. These are only a few of the video game adaptations that I considered for this video, but there are so many more. I considered talking about the Silent Hill movies, Detective Pikachu, and that Sonic movie thing. There's also a lot more coming out in the foreseeable future. An HBO series based off The Last of Us, which I'm super hopeful for, was just announced not too long ago, and Tom Holland is supposed to star as a young Nathan Drake in an Uncharted movie in the future sometime. It's not surprising that inspiration for newer works is being pulled from video games, because the industry has been growing bigger and bigger over the years. Personally, I'd love to see a TV adaptation of Detroit Become Human, one of my favorite video games of all time. Let me know in the comments what video games you think would make for a great movie or TV show. Also, don't forget to like the video, ring the notification bell, and subscribe to Zero Loser Studio. Now we're officially at the end of this video, so I'll catch you at the next one, losers.